Good afternoon, guys. We are back again, Dabujula Patente, with you. As promised, anytime we have a little time, let's say convenient time, we will choose a topic and then try to learn together with you. So this time around, we are back with Corsie, and just to remind you, whenever you're watching the videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with some friends that might be interested in learning and, let's say, gaining a driving license. Okay, so without wasting much time, we're gonna go with lanes today. Let's say this moment, because this is the second video of the day. When Italians say corsia, lane, that means la corsia è una parte della carreggiata che consente la circolazione di una sola fila di veicoli. It is that part of the roadway that allows the circulation of only one line of vehicles. A line of vehicle here, we mean like one ahead and the other one behind that, and it goes. Okay, they will not side by side on one lane. It is not even bigger enough to accommodate two cars, two vehicles. È limitato da strisce continue o discontinue e ha lunghezza minima di 2,80 metri e massima di 4 metri. It could be limited by dash lanes. That means dash lanes, those are the lines that are being cut off. Several lanes, short lanes with another that could be used as continuous lane. Okay, so either a discontinued lane, that means dash lanes, or a continuous lane could limit a lane. And it has a minimum of 2.8 meters and maximum of 4 meters wide. Una corsia è sempre a senso unico. It is always a one way, and it could be a travel lane. That means a normal traveling speed. It could be di accelerazione, può essere di accelerazione. It could be of speed lane, per consentire l'ingresso dei veicoli nella carreggiata. Ad esempio, quando si proviene da un'altra strada o da un'area di servizio, in autostrada o su strade extraurbane principali. Nella corsia di accelerazione sono vietati la sosta ed il sorpasso. So it could be of speed lane. When we say speed lane, they are meant to allow cars to enter into the main road. For example, cars that are coming from suburban roads, those are the roads that link highways with cities. Okay, or cars that are coming from service areas. You find them on highways. Normally, they are usually from filling station with bars where you could get your snack and then eat yourself too, then get back to the main road and continue your journey. Okay, and on speed lanes, stops and overtakings are not allowed to. Remember that. Può essere di deaccelerazione per consentire il rallentamento dei veicoli in uscita dalla carreggiata da una strada a precedenza o entrando in un'area di servizio in autostrada. In questa corsia sono vietati la sosta ed il sorpasso. So when we talk about reducing lanes that are meant to reduce your speed, these are lanes that are usually meant to exit highways and get into the suburban roads or get into towns and stuffs. Could be lanes that will lead you into service areas too. And the same way as on speed lanes, lower speed lanes does not allow overtakings and stops. Può essere di emergenza. It could be of emergency lane per la sosta di emergenza in caso di guasto o malessere. So it could be of emergency lane to allow you to stop in case of emergency or damage. Può essere riservato. It could be lanes that are reserved, destinato esclusivamente alla circolazione di una particolare categoria di veicoli. It could be reserved lanes that are designated exclusively for the circulation of certain types of categories of vehicles, example taxi or autobus. That means these normal bus. These particular types of lanes are usually found near big stations like train stations, airports, whereby you will find a lane with a symbol of taxi or a written word taxi on the road. When you see that, if you are not a taxi driver, you should not try to avoid entering there, because that means only taxis o buses are allowed in there. La corsia può essere specializzata, destinata a determinate manovre. Esempio, sorpasso, sosta o svolta. It could be a special type of lane that is designated for a certain type of movements that could be overtaking, stopping, or like bending. Le corsie possono essere vietate a taluni tipi di veicoli. Lanes could be used also to forbid certain type. When you hear taluni, means certain types of vehicles. Yes, you could see lanes that, as we said before, with a written word on it, or a pole with a signboard taxi, or let's say trucks are not allowed in. For example, lanes could be used also for that. L'ente proprietario della strada può imporre che su una corsia i veicoli transitino ad una velocità minima obbligatoria. He said the owner of the road could decide that on a particular lane, certain speed limits should be respected. Okay, that is true. Most of the time, these highways are usually private. This is why at the end of any journey, you need to pay before exiting. Non è vero che non può mai essere attraversato dai pedoni o che su una stessa corsia possono circolare affiancati due motocicli o due ciclomotori. It is never true that pedestrians could never cross lanes. When you say that without specifying, it is not true. Or either that on one lane, two motorbikes or two motorcycles could drive side by side, even though it is bigger enough to accommodate them. It is not allowed. This is why lanes are limited with lines to guarantee safety during our journeys. So let's take a look at these two short videos as we usually promise to family, let's say to make our understanding better. Then we look at the second video and then continue on the possible questions that might appear on our exam day about lanes. Let's take a look at it. Okay, the first video was not playing. I don't know what happened, but anyway, what it was showing that on a continued line, you could not cross a continued line. If you want to leave one lane to another, there must be discontinued or dash lines that are delimiting the two lanes, that are separating the two lanes. So in the second video, it is shown, what is shown there, that is a deceleration lane that is usually used to lower your speed to avoid bending or exiting with high speed. Now we take a look at possible questions that might appear on our exam days. I know some people are trying to call me, but please just give me a little more time. I will be able to respond to your calls. La corsia può essere destinata alla normale marcia dei veicoli. A lane could be designated for a normal traveling, vero, that is true. La corsia è limitata da strisce continue e discontinue. It could be delimited or separated from the other lanes by dash lanes o continued lines. La corsia può essere di accelerazione. A lane could be of acceleration, for acceleration. La corsia può essere di acceleration. It could be for deceleration, that means lowering speed. Le corsie possono essere vietate a taluni tipi di veicoli. Lanes could avoid certain types of vehicles. La corsia può essere riservata. All these that I'm reading are true. You can see vero. La corsia può essere riservata alla circolazione di alcune categorie di veicoli. Esempio, taxi, autobus, etc. Lanes could be reserved for certain types of vehicles like taxi and autobus. That means bus, as we said earlier. Example, around airports and even seaports could be, and train, railway stations. La corsia può essere destinata ad effettuare sorpasso. Lanes could be used for overtaking. Yes. L'ente proprietario della strada, that means the owner of the road, può imporre che su una corsia i veicoli transitano ad una velocità minima obbligatoria. The owner of the road could impose that on a particular lane a minimum speed should be applied. La corsia è una parte della carreggiata che consente la circolazione di una sola fila di veicoli. That is true. Please, guys, allow me to go through this and then I'll be able to respond to your calls. Where are we? Ok, la corsia è una parte della carreggiata che consente la circolazione di una sola fila di veicoli. It is a part of road. Lane is part of the road whereby only one line of vehicles are allowed, like a convoy. Cars that will come after one another, cars can never sided to move alongside on a lane. Lanes are not wide enough to accommodate that. La corsia può essere destinata alle soste di emergenza. In caso di guasto o malessere, lanes could be used for stop in case of emergency or damage. These are all true. La corsia può essere riservata ai veicoli che intendono svoltare. Lanes could be used for vehicles that intended to exit or to bend somewhere another direction. La corsia può essere destinata al rallentamento dei veicoli in uscita dalle autostrade. Lanes could be used or could be designated to decelerate for deceleration for vehicles that intended to exit from the highways. True, la corsia di accelerazione facilita l'ingresso dei veicoli in autostrada o su strade extraurbane principali. Speed lanes are used to facilitate the entering of vehicles from on highways, entry of vehicles on highway or in suburban ways. Okay, those are roads that will link you normally cities and the highways. They are usually called suburban roads. La corsia di accelerazione serve ad entrare correttamente in autostrada. Okay, that is true. Speed lanes are used to enter correctly on autostrada, on highways. La corsia di accelerazione viene utilizzata per aumentare la velocità. That is true. Speed lanes are usually used to adjust, or let's say to accelerate. Okay, to add up your speed. La corsia di accelerazione serve per rientrare sulla carreggiata dell'autostrada dopo che si è usciti da un'area di servizio. That is true. Speed lanes are used to enter in highways when one exited from the same highway into a service area. La corsia di accelerazione facilita l'uscita dei veicoli dall'autostrada. Deceleration lanes are used to exit from highways. True. We are left with two correct questions. La corsia di decelerazione serve per uscire correttamente da una strada extraurbana principale. Deceleration lanes are usually used to exit correctly from principal suburban roads. That is true. La corsia di decelerazione serve per uscire dalla carreggiata dall'autostrada ed entrare nell'area di servizio. Deceleration lanes are usually used to exit correctly from highways to enter in service areas. Now let's take a look at questions that are false, and we could find them see them during our exam days about lanes. La corsia è destinata solo al transito dei pedoni. That's not true, because he said lanes are meant only for the transit of pedestrians. That is not true. We've seen only here too. That means solo. Okay. La corsia può essere a doppio senso di circolazione. We've said it earlier that a lane could not be two ways. only one way because it is not wide enough to accommodate 2 cars. This is why lanes are designed on roads. Okay. On one road, you could find several, even 1, 2, or 3, 4 lanes there to guarantee safety. La corsia è una pista riservata alle vetture da corsa. No. He said lanes are meant for race cars that are usually used for racing. That is not true. La corsia quindi è falso, then is false. La corsia non può mai essere attraversata dai pedoni. That is not true. He said lanes can never be crossed by pedestrians. That's not true. It depends on where you will find that, either in the city or on highways. On highways, pedestrians could never walk there. So that means on highways, you could not even think of crossing because you will not find yourself there. That means signing your own death certificate, in short. So, la corsia è formata da 2 carreggiate. It says a lane is formed of 2 roads. You find lanes on roads. You don't find roads on lane. So, that is false. La corsia è una strada a scorrimento veloce. Lanes are roads for rapid movements. That is not true. Lanes are not roads. Lanes are found on roads. So be careful. These are tricks that normally they will use. The same question, like this, the last one of you read, and the second to last, let's say both saying the same thing but in different forms. So these are ways of tricking you. Maybe you will find both of them and you will start thinking that no, as these are similar, maybe one of them is not correct. This is a mind game that they will usually use on you. So, nei centri abitati, let's continue, su una stessa corsia possono circolare affiancate 2 motocicli. No, that is not true. We've said it earlier that 2 motorcycles could not side by side in movement, the same direction. Now, on one lane, on the same lane, they must be on 2 lanes to guarantee the safety. So here it says, in city centers, 2 motorbikes could travel side by side. That is not true. Fuori dai centri abitati, su una stessa corsia possono circolare affiancati 2 ciclomotori. It says that outside city centers, on the same lane, 2 motorcycles could travel side by side in the same direction. That is not true. We said on each lane, either a car or a motorcycle or scooters, they could only travel only one on each lane. Otherwise, they should be moving one after the other, one behind the other. Ok, la corsia di accelerazione può essere utilizzata per il sorpasso. Speed lanes should be used for overtaking. We said no, because they are used in entry on highways. So overtaking on speed lanes in entering the highway is very risky. Okay, so this question is also false. La corsia di accelerazione serve per uscire da una piazzola di sosta. That's not true. Okay. It says speed lanes are usually used to exit stop areas that are meant for stopping. That's not true. Be careful too when you hear about accelerazione. Okay? When he said corsia di accelerazione, it could be a mind play too. One might think, accelerazione, so you could overtake. No, you cannot overtake on corsia di accelerazione, speed lanes, because they are only used in entry. in highways. La corsia di accelerazione serve per abbandonare la carreggiata dell'autostrada ed entrare in un'area di sosta. Okay, it says here that speed lanes are there to use to abandon, that means to exit roads on highways and enter in stop areas that are meant to stop. No, we said speed. When you are entering in those areas, you will usually use the deceleration speed lanes. But whenever there is an acceleration speed, that means you are entering on the main road. You are not exiting. So this question is also false. La corsia di decelerazione può essere utilizzata per la sosta dei veicoli. That is not true. On deceleration lanes, you cannot stop or either overtake, because it is usually used on exiting from the main roads. So you cannot stop there, neither you can overtake vehicles that are exiting. La corsia di decelerazione serve per entrare in una piazzola di sosta. That is false. You don't use deceleration speed lanes to exit and then get to stop areas. No. They are usually on normal lanes, on highways, because you don't exit. You stop. There's just this sort of enlargement that are not considered the same as lanes, but there are areas when, in case of emergency, you could exit and then stop there, but there's no lane that will direct you to that spot. You just exit and stop. Bam, that is it. So the last one, we said, it says la corsia di decelerazione serve ad entrare in autostrada. Deceleration speed lanes are used to enter highways. No, you use them to exit. So we will leave you with this other lesson, and then try to read and understand. In case of doubt, you could just simply comment in the comment area below. I will try to respond to your doubts. Let's say when one needs to clear a doubt, I will always be here to respond to you one after the other. And then thank you for your kind attention. I wish you all a nice evening. Until next time, thank you all. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos, as it is going to give us more motivation to continue. Thank you all.